Hey everyone, and another happy lazy Sunday to you guys. I hope the weekend's been relaxing, and if not, just take a small break with me and why don't we get into what I reviewed this week. Now there wasn't a whole lot of big name movies coming out this weekend, so I decided to do something a little different. Instead, I thought I might watch some of Netflix's original TV shows and movies to give you guys my thoughts on them. So the shows we'll be covering today will be Sex Education Season 1, You Season 1, and Friends from College Season 1. All of this will be leading up to my review of Netflix original movie, Bird Box. So if there is a particular one that you guys are interested in, I'm going to go ahead and post the times to where you can skip to see that specific review. These reviews' ratings will be different from the way I usually rate films. I'll be rating Netflix's content on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being that it's not worth your time, a 2.5 being something you would play in the background while you clean or do homework, and a 5 being a must-watch. So without further ado, let's get into these reviews. You, Season 1, starring Penn Badgley, who you might know from the movie Easy A, is about Badgley's character named Joe Goldberg, who is a bookstore manager in New York City and happens to fall head over heels in love with a girl named Guinevere Beck, played by Elizabeth Lial, who also played Princess Anna in ABC's Once Upon a Time. You was a pretty interesting show as we get to see how far Joe is willing to go to make Beck his and only his. And let me tell you right now is that he has no limits as to what he's willing to do to achieve this goal, because it turns out that Joe is stalking Beck. And I was just completely surprised by this because the show has the guts to make the protagonist seem likable, but really question his mentality. And this made me really conflicted with the show because we're supposed to be rooting for the protagonist. But how can we when he's being a straight up creep? So I'll give this show a 4 out of 5 because I call Joe the protagonist, but he for sure doesn't fit this title. But I also feel he doesn't fit the title of an anti-hero. Joe has such a unique role that it fits in so many pieces that I just considered it a fresh take on the character's moral ideology. Sex Education Season 1, starring Asa Butterfield, is a British high school comedy where Butterfield's character, Otis Milburn, begins providing sex therapy sessions for his classmates. I found this show really funny with some of the situations that Otis had to help his classmates out with. It has a real Napoleon Dynamite feel to it without the awkward silences, and it really pushes the envelope on raunchy comedies. It does, however, fall for the usual teen comedy cliches, but the execution was good enough to make me laugh hard at a lot of this show. So I'll give this show a 4 out of 5. There was some really funny moments in this show because the cast all looks like they're having a great deal of fun, and it makes me have a lot of fun. Friends from College Season 1, starring Keegan Michael Key, Fred Savage, and Cobie Smaulders. This comedy is about a group of friends that have known each other since college and continue to hang out on a regular basis. However, we mostly follow the story of Key's character, Ethan, as he tries to juggle keeping his affair with one of the members of the group named Sam, played by Annie Precy, a secret, while also trying to regain his success as an author. This show tries to emulate Friends, but it does not deliver on the same level, as the comedy for me fell really flat. It seems that everyone in the show had fallen victim to what I like to call the Kevin Hart syndrome. You know, they start to talk really fast and say a lot of jokes in a short amount of time. It just really didn't work for me, as this runs throughout the entire show and I grew really tired of it. There are some funny moments that the group shares with each other, but other moments are really dull and annoying. I'll give this show a 2.5 out of 5. Now, I just found most of the characters unlikable and annoying, which made it hard for me to get really invested in the show. Now, there is a second season, which I've yet to watch, but the first one has already left a bad impression on me, so you won't be seeing the second season review anytime soon. Bird Box, starring Sandra Bullock, is a horror suspense film where Bullock's character Mallory Hayes lives in a post-apocalyptic world that has invisible creatures that, once seen, causes people to commit suicide. So people have to walk outside blindfolded to avoid this fate. Now, there was one other movie that was pretty similar to this, and that was M. Night's The Happening. But trust me, Bird Box executes this premise with way better precision.
What? No!
Yes, it does, Mark Wahlberg. When it comes to horror movies, the tone is the most important thing you need to get right. And immediately as this movie starts, the tone is established through a monologue that Hayes gives to her children about the dangers of removing their blindfolds outside. And Bullock gives a stellar performance in this one, as she doesn't hold anything back with the forcefulness that Hayes must have on her children to keep them alive in these dangerous situations. Plus, the idea of not being able to use your eyes in the open world adds a great deal of tension to this film, forcing Hayes to use her wits and ingenuity to maneuver around without her sight. So I'd say the only thing holding this film back are some flashback scenes that happen a lot through this entire movie. It's almost played in a similar fashion as one of Bullock's other films, Gravity. And it really took me out of the movie when it kept switching from the present to the past, as the most interesting scenes we see are when Hayes and her kids are in the forest. Other than that, this film is really good, as it creates some suspenseful and stressful moments that make you sit on the edge of your seat. So I give this one a 4 out of 5. As I said, I would have loved to see more of the journey in the forest, but give this one a watch if you're looking to add a little scares to your movie experience. Well, that's all I have for this week. Let me know what you guys think about these shows and movies, and put your comments down below so we could talk about them. If you guys want to see more Netflix movies and show reviews, put your suggestions in the comment section down below. Be sure to also like this video by giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more Sunday reviews. Thank you guys for joining me, and have an amazing rest of the weekend.